Blog Talk Radio.
Thanks for tuning in to Unscripted, presented by Be Unique magazine, because an authentic life is unscripted. Be Unique is a 501c3 charity that works today to change tomorrow. Learn more at our website, beunique.org. That's BUNEKE.org. Did you know that Be Unique is a free, non-profit publication? We work today to change tomorrow by bringing you truly amazing guests like the one we'll introduce tonight, and by highlighting stories about people all over the world who will astound you. The free digital version is available 24/7 at beunique.org. That's BUNEKE.org.
Welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I am Mary Brotherton. I'm your host for tonight's Unscripted, and my guest tonight is Heidi Tobey. Heidi is a holistic health coach who focuses on the complete individual to get to the root causes of their challenges, and she works with them to bring balance through natural, holistic strategies. Welcome to the show, Heidi.
Hi, thank you.
You're very welcome. So I know that we talked briefly about how you focus through the lens of functional medicine. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I'm just a holistic health coach, and I've been doing that for a few years now. But recently, in the past year, I've decided to add some functional medicine training to that practice. Because I feel that it gives me it's given me a lot more insight into how to help people turn disease around naturally, holistically, and it's now I'm not a doctor, but I can educate people and help them to learn more about their bodies and finding what functional medicine does is it focuses on finding the root cause of disease and illness and dis-ease in the body, and just looking upstream to the root cause and treating that rather than how traditional medicine just puts a Band-Aid on symptoms and masks the symptoms just to make you feel better, which doesn't really help the problem. So through functional medicine, I will help people to understand what exactly are the dynamics that are going on in their body. What are the deficiencies that are causing the issues that they're having problems with? And through that, it could be something just in their diet. It could be in, getting enough sleep, drinking pure, clean water. There could be very simple things that can make a huge difference in their lives. So through the functional medicine lens, meaning that we're just looking at the digging down to find the root cause and to find the simplest, most basic way to make improvements.
Now, you mentioned the need for pure, clean water. How do you suggest people get absolutely clean water? What do you do?
First of all, pure, clean water as opposed to, like sugar-sweetened beverages and juices, sodas, and also. If you can put a filter on your tap water, that would be great. If you could drink spring water, that's fine too. Maybe one of the best ways is just putting a simple filter on your faucet in your house. It's inexpensive. It filters out not everything, but it does clean it up quite a bit. And as far as like bottled water goes, we usually like to steer away from the plastics. And to drink mostly out of, stainless steel or glass because you don't have any leaching of toxins from plastics into your water. So that's why I like to suggest mainly just putting a filter on your water.
And,
And
not
also,
drinking.
yeah, and just go ahead.
I was going to say not drinking out of plastic also helps ease some of the plastic pollution that we're dealing with these days, too.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation. It's better for our bodies. It reduces the amount of toxins that we're taking in. And like you said, also helps clean up the landfills or not add to them anyway.
Exactly. So I had a question, and it just disappeared from my brain. I love it that time of night. I know that one of your areas of expertise is working with people with digestive issues, right?
Right. That was probably one of my first love.
So, and you also work with people with blood sugar management and sustainable weight loss. I would think that would kind of be a hand-in-hand situation.
Yeah, actually, really everything is interconnected, which is another tenet of functional medicine, is that there's so much interconnectedness in the body. We're not individual systems. We're a combination of all the different systems of our body, your endocrine system, your digestive system, your nervous system. Every system works in tandem with each other. You can't do anything to one system without it affecting all the others. So digestive health is really one of the root of the beginning of disease in the body. A lot of that comes in through our digestive system. That's like one of the most important things to keep healthy. But that in turn affects every other part of our body too. So the whole interconnectedness is one thing that conventional medicine doesn't really look at.
I agree. I actually had a similar situation where I just was unwell, and I found someone who was more holistic, and I started adding certain foods and eliminating others, and I found out that food is a good medicine.
Yes,
and the fact
exactly.
that it tastes so good, it just makes it even better.
Yeah, I think most people have heard that quote by Hippocrates that let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food.
Yes.
And he also said that all health begins in the gut and disease begins in the gut. And I mean that was ages and ages ago, and we're just now kind of starting to catch up with that idea, or we're getting back to that idea. I think people are getting tired of being just sick and unhealthy all the time, and we're starting to look back towards just the simpler solutions. And some of the basics are just eating well, sleeping well, and being happy. Joy in your life is also a major component of your health.
So how would you suggest somebody who's not happy get happy?
Yeah, well, it's certainly not that simple. And it depends on the person, the individual. You need to look at, well, what is it that's making you unhappy? One kind of little exercise to do is to ask yourself, what would you do? What changes would you make in your life if on a day-to-day basis, if you found out that you had 5 years left to live? And that makes people think about, so it's not like really drastic changes, but if you thought that your life was, you only had 5 years left, what kind of differences would you make? Would you stay in the job that you're in now, or would you maybe start looking towards something that makes you happier? Would you stay in your relationships now? Are there some hobbies and things you really enjoy that you've, just pushed aside that maybe you could get back to? And it's not something that you have to do immediately right away, but like over the course of the next 5 years, what are the things that you want to make sure you incorporate into your life? And it can be just small changes.
Heidi, I think if I had only 5 years left to live, I'd hire a maid. That would make me so happy to not have to worry about doing housework or dealing with the mundane things. It's so funny because I was talking to someone recently. He was a gentleman, actually, and he does housework. He cleans people's houses, and he says it gives him such joy to know that he's making their home cleaner and healthier.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think a lot of happiness has to do with your perspective.
Exactly. That's why it's so individual. It's not just one clear-cut answer. You really have to just, ask yourself as an individual. Nobody can tell you what makes you happy. You just need to really think, and it can be just small things. Maybe you enjoy gardening. And if you don't have a garden, but it's something that you would always wanted to do, maybe just plant a few herbs and start that way. But just small little incremental changes. But you really should add something to your life, every week, every day, even, would be even better. That is something just for yourself that makes you happy. It could be just, taking a bubble bath at the end of the day, or setting aside, 30 minutes or an hour to read if you enjoy reading, but making some time for yourself and space for yourself and giving yourself some self-care. Because if you don't care for yourself, then you're not going to be able to care for anyone else.
That is so true.
Right. And we call that kind of like vitamin J is joy. It's such a huge component in our lives. Our mental state is just as important as our physical state.
Yeah, because if you're so sick and tired of living, then you have no joy for life. And if you have no joy for life, you can't get up and go. And if you can't, it's a big circle. You can't get up and go, then it just kind of exacerbates one on top of the other.
Right. And that's putting wear and tear on your body too. If you're depressed or, suffer anxiety, that's putting stress on your body and it's not helping you for your wellness. You're probably going to be more susceptible to illness, getting colds more often, and then it just escalates and can become worse and worse.
Exactly. So if you had someone who came to you with, say, they had a digestive issue, you would not treat me the same way that you would treat Jennifer or Johnny or Joseph, would you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we may all have a lot of things in common as far as, we all have a digestive system. We all have hearts and blood flow. And, there's some basic things to being a human being that's common to all of us. But beyond that, there are so many more things that make us individuals. And there are thousands of different things about me that make me different than you. And so it really is a matter of looking at your lifestyle, looking at, not just the food you eat, but looking at your relationships, looking at your happiness. Are you under a lot of stress at work? Are you, taking any time for some exercise? How are you eating and how are you sleeping? That's another really big thing. Is you want to look at not just something called your eating hygiene. It's not, what you eat, how you eat, where you eat, when you eat, and also your sleep. How much sleep are you getting? How well rested are you? And all of these things will play into if you're constipated. There are so many things that can be contributing to your constipation. It's not just a matter of, take some magnesium and that'll cure that. You really need to look at, it could be stress, could be causing constipation. It could be a magnesium deficiency could be causing it. So we really need to look at everything about an individual person and have conversations. So I meet with people just one-on-one so we can get to know each other. I get to know a lot about them. We spend an hour just talking about them and all the aspects of their lives so we can start piecing the puzzle pieces together and find out there may be a lot of things involved in, all coming together as a perfect storm. And it's just, you really just need to start piecing it all together.
Heidi, I'm going to take a little break, When we come back, I want to continue talking about sleep. I've got a couple of questions for you.
Okay, great.
If you like the show tonight, let us know. Call 321-417-4309 or email mary@beunique.org to ask how you can sponsor the show. It's simple and doesn't have to cost much at all. Visit beunique.org for even more details. That's BUNEKE.org. Join the global world changers who already know how Be Unique helps bring together like-minded humans who are making the world a better place. Read the magazine and blog posts, watch our videos, listen to our podcast, and visit our social media from one location, and let's work together to change tomorrow by finding solutions today. Visit BeUnique.org to learn more. That's BUNEKE.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we're talking with Heidi Tobey, a holistic health coach, and we've been talking about digestion and functional medicine, and we've also been talking about sleep. Heidi, the reason I said I wanted to come back to this is I actually know, my oldest son has narcolepsy, and I have two friends who have insomnia. So I know they don't all eat the same foods. They're in different houses, all three of them. But what would you say would be important for these people to start maybe getting a sleep routine, or how would they, before they start going and spending a lot of money with doctors, how would they help themselves?
Okay, well, basically, I can't speak to narcolepsy. That's a little bit beyond my scope of practice. But for people who just have your general sleep issues, and I think the majority of the population has sleep issues, quote unquote, where they either they have trouble getting to sleep, or they have trouble staying asleep, will wake up multiple times during the night, or maybe both. Or they're waking up too early and just not feeling rested. Maybe they're sleeping 7 or 8 hours, but it's restless sleep, and they just wake up not feeling like they got a good night's sleep. So there are lots of little things that you can do to try to make sure that you give yourself every opportunity to get a good night's sleep. Having a consistent bedtime, not staying up really late. Try to get to bed as early as you can. Whatever works with your schedule. Don't force yourself to stay up. And things like watching TV, work on your computer or your laptop. These things stimulate your brain and make it more difficult for you to fall asleep. So it's recommended that you don't check your email. Get off the phone. All electronics off at least an hour before you go to bed. Start winding down, dim the lights in the house, and have a regular schedule. Try to set yourself up for going to bed around the same time, every night, even on the weekends. And it sometimes a warm bath helps some people to relax. Epsom salts are good for relaxing your muscles. Maybe Epsom salt and a few drops of lavender essential oil in the bath can help, relax, prepare you for sleep. You could try drinking herbal tea. Sleepy time tea is really good, something without any caffeine. And also, depending on your sensitivity to caffeine, make sure you're not drinking caffeine later in the day. You may find that you might need to stop drinking any caffeinated beverages as early as noon. Maybe limit your coffee and teas just to the morning hours. And some people are extra sensitive that the caffeine will stay within their body and be stimulating them for a good 12 hours after they've had a cup of coffee. Those are things to think about too.
I know a woman who won't eat chocolate after noon.
Right.
Because of the caffeine of chocolate.
Yeah, there's substances in chocolate that are stimulatory, and some people could handle drinking a cup of coffee before bed, but not chocolate, because it's a different. It's not just the caffeine. There's different substances in the chocolate that cause that stimulating effect. Also, the temperature of your room plays a part. If your room is too warm, it can make it difficult to sleep. You could have, make sure your room is dark. And having a TV in your room playing while you're trying to sleep really doesn't help for a quality deep sleep either. And also maybe try to not drink a lot right before bed. Maybe that, a cup of herbal tea before bed would be fine, but not eating and not drinking a lot within maybe 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Make sure that your last meal has fully digested before you lay down and go to sleep, because that's also another thing that just keeps your body working. Sleep is a time for regeneration, and your body doesn't need to be working on digestion when this is when it's working on other things. Repairing in your body happens during sleep. Like I said, also you're keeping your room a little bit cooler if that's possible. Helps with sleep. And I had something else that just flew out of my mind.
Well, I'll tell you 2 things, and then I've got a question that maybe it'll help your thought come back. I tease my husband. He likes the bedroom especially cold at night, and I tease him that I have to go to the tundra and the icy tundra when I'm going to bed. But yeah. I don't relish the cool as much as he does. I actually end up having to sleep under a blanket, and he thinks it's hilarious because here we are in Florida, and I'm under a fleece blanket until I do go to sleep, and then I end up kicking it off.
Yeah.
But I already know the answer, but I'd like to hear your take on it. What about the people who say, well, I'm just going to have a little cocktail before I go to bed because it helps me relax?
A little cocktail can help you relax. However, any more than that actually has the opposite effect. It may help you to relax, but alcohol has been shown to wake you up later in night. So you might fall asleep, but you're going to have trouble staying asleep if you have maybe more than. Now, like I said, everybody is different. Some have a higher tolerance to it than others, but just in general, maybe a glass of wine in the evening is not going to affect your sleep. A bottle of wine might affect your sleep. And some people might be more sensitive, and just two glasses of wine, they fall asleep, and then they find themselves waking up 2 hours later. Other things that can cause you to wake up during the night could be, a lack of, an issue with producing serotonin. Serotonin helps you to stay asleep. It helps to keep producing melatonin. Melatonin is what helps you to fall asleep. Your brain starts producing melatonin as the sun goes down. It's just how we've evolved over time. It's in our DNA to start producing melatonin after the sun goes down so that we can sleep. And then as the sun starts to come up, ideally we start producing cortisol to help us wake up in the morning. And some people, you might be on, working a night shift, and that's going to really throw a monkey wrench in things. But if your body is having trouble producing enough melatonin or serotonin, the precursor to melatonin, that'll affect sleep issues too. That's why some people find that maybe taking a supplement of melatonin, small amounts, always start small, smaller the better, and take the minimum dose that you need. Too much can have the opposite effect. And if you're under a lot of stress, and it's another thing that helps to try to unwind, maybe some meditation, journaling, gratitude journaling before bed too, helps you to relax, evoking that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest nervous system. It's our calm